Hello. It's the same day as another episode I recorded, the death episode. So whatever, um, if I don't record them in order, I record these two in the same day. So this one, and I just forgot. This is Musings with Mookie. Episode whatever number it is, because I'm about to start typing up episode 36. Or finish 40. I don't know. But this is Musings with Mookie. This topic may ruffle some feathers, may not. Maybe someone listen to this and be like, "Oh, she's bitter," but I'm really not. I just made a decision that I found to be, cumbersome. Based on the actions after I decided were cumbersome, and I didn't feel like doing all of that again. So it was about how I felt. Okay, I'm not taking anyone else's feelings into consideration when I talk about why I decided what I did. So I made the decision probably while I was married. Like, if this ends, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing this shit no more. I'm not getting married again. I think I even thought it to myself when I was signing that a marriage license in Virginia that I paid for. Oh, let me stop. I'm giving up too many details. Or it's going to sound like I'm bitter. Or someone's going to be like, oh, you didn't pick the right guy. I may have been destined for it to always be this way. I would have had to make some very guided decisions. And the formula was there. I was alone in Virginia, no friends. I was young. Everyone looked creepy. Well, not everyone looked creepy. Some of the cadets tried to hit on me, not beat on me like physically, but they were cadets and I was in the military. So it was called fraternization. And I may, have some kind of personality disorder where everything's like black and white. It could be autism. I've never been diagnosed with autism, okay? But I just have to, it's very black and white with me. Fraternization. And if it mess with my money, I'm not finna be bothered by it. Well, let me stop, because I done did some things that definitely messed with my money, or could have messed with my money if I got caught. It's not espionage or nothing like that. Hey, I like a little chaos and I like getting my work right. So I don't want to get married again. I didn't see me losing. Like, when it came to the relationship, I didn't see it. Like, the breakup didn't feel worse because I was married. Like, it didn't feel worse. Like, I've had breakups before and I've got upset, but it didn't feel worse. And I was just asked the other day, did you love him? And I was like, I said it. That's what I said in my head. I answered myself, I said it, but I don't know. I mean, I probably did. You had to have some type of love for someone to stay for so long. Okay. I just figured I had to work in marriage, but then I started thinking it can't possibly be this hard all the time, where you're biting your tongue all the time. It felt like servitude, okay? And I was not built for servitude, okay? I was built to be a service to others, but not servitude. So I'm not getting married again. I'm not getting married unless there is something in it for me when it ends. There will be a strong prenup. I don't care if I only have $5 in the bank account and just I'm getting whatever is mine and dipping out. I'm not exchanging anything else again. The last divorce I went through, I paid for it all. With the exception, he had to pay his half for the mediation. But everything else, I paid for my lawyer. I paid for everything. And then I had to change my name because this whole traditional archetype. Yes, I was brought up going to church and whatever. And I also watched TV. So I really wasn't taught how to be a wife. I wasn't given any relationship, anything. And I think if I was given some, I would have still rebelled because it was not working. I want to say I was forced to grow myself. And so when I feel like something's not working, then I'm going to make some changes. So I got divorced. I got married thinking that, oh, this is going to be great. Like, just off the vibes of being married, even though being with him was increasingly difficult. But we were already 2 kids in. He had one of his own. So essentially we were 3 kids in, but his oldest lived with its mother. I don't want to give who they are. And so, but it was already hectic. It started out hectic, but I was determined to not have multiple baby fathers. So I stayed. I was like, we'll just work it out. Okay. I done broke up a couple of times with this person already. But obligation kept me there. And so when I think of marriage or getting married, I don't see it as now, because I really don't see it as something to look forward to. For myself, I still think people get married is a good thing, if that's what they want to do. But for me, I don't see it as a one up to me. I don't see you being a wife is greater than me being a girlfriend or being in a partnership with another person. I really don't. You saying you're a wife and your status is greater than mine when it comes to relationships, and I should, feel enamored or feel like you're greater than me in purpose. I don't. I really don't. There's no way I can look around the world and see what women go through. Because if I'm just speaking from the women's perspective, the expectations that are put upon us once we get married, you're gonna have the kid. Okay, if you decide to have kids, if you two are grouped into having kids, you're gonna have the kid, and then you're gonna have to clean, and then you're gonna have to cook, and then you're gonna have to support everyone in the household. And then somehow, at the end of your life, your seemingly chaotic, magical life, you're going to be brought back esteemed. And I'm not falling for the okie doke. No longer. I didn't fall for the okie doke anyway. The reason I got married because it was one of the ways, at least in what I'm taking from it, oh, we got to be together. I'm going to take you out on dates. I'm going to do this. How am I supposed to do this? If you're not here with me, you remember it's Monday. Why can't you remember it's my birthday? Why you can't plug it in your phone? Why you can't put a sticky note on your refrigerator? Why does everything has to be so hard? So, yeah, it was all these, well, I could do this if you're here and yada yada. I get here. Okay, we get married. I get an assignment so we can move close together. And everything falls flat. And the onus is on the woman to recognize that there were several red flags. When I did go to people, okay, when I did go seek advice from people, here's what I was told. I was told I was being picky. I was told I was being too hard. I was told that maybe it's the distance. I was told, you know how you are. And these are all from people I never dated. You know you could be a little rough. You could be a little harsh. So, no. When it comes to marriage, if I was to get married again and it broke up again, the heartbreak would be no better or no worse than if I was just in a long-term relationship. The only thing I would be bothered by is how much work I had to do, whether or not I had to change my name, because I'm not keeping the name that I have now because I never changed it from when I got married last time, because I would have to change all my credit cards. I would have to change a whole bunch of insurance documents, and so now I had, or my medical records would be different. So I'm just like, so I never changed it. So I definitely would be changing it if I was to get, nah, I just keep my name like it is. But yeah, that's what I think about marriage. It's not for me. I don't need marriage to be in a long-term relationship. I don't need a piece of paper that's trapping me to you, or someone being able to call me an adulterer because I'm still married, or I can't break up with you easily, that we have to go to marriage counseling because we have to stay together. I can go to couples counseling in the same way. I didn't feel special when I got married. I'm telling you that right now. I didn't feel chosen. Matter of fact, I felt the opposite. My body was screaming to me not to get married. And I know other people's bodies like, oh, you got to marry this person. This is your person. But that's not what I felt. Okay? Even when I got the ring, I was like, this is not something I would pick. And this is not something I said I wanted. Like, so yeah. I don't want to be married. I don't see married as a one-up on anyone. I don't. Besides there being a discussion that the side chick is or the mistress, or so, no, y'all both in the same boat. Y'all need to fix that. He your boyfriend now. He no longer your husband. He's your boyfriend. Okay, y'all in a poly relationship. So y'all need to work that out. But anyway, this has been Musings with Mookie. I'm not even sure this conversation went the way I wanted it to go. This musing went the way I wanted it to go. But I'm sure the blurb that I type on it will be much better than what the musing is about. Usually that's how it's supposed to go, because it's just a musing. It's just something I'm thinking about. And I'm just, letting y'all listen to my thoughts. But I will talk to y'all later. This has been Musings with Mookie. You guys have been great as usual. Thank you for watching from all the different countries, from whenever you can. I appreciate you. And ciao. Bye.